Black's knight f6 in response to one d4 is characteristic of the various Indian defenses. Unlike one d5, which fights for the center in traditional fashion by occupying it with pawns, Indian systems reflect the hyper-modern approach to opening theory. In such openings, black often allows white to construct a classical pawn center, but then attempts to attack it with pieces and undermine it with timely pawn advances. Popular opening variations in Indian defenses include Nimzo-Indian Defense, King's Indian Defense, Anti-Nimzo-Indian, Catalan, etc. Let us check the main ideas and plans in Indian defense, so that when you will practice the opening lines, you will understand the logic behind the moves rather than memorizing them. White opens with one d4, taking center control and preventing e5 from black. Black replies with knight f6 as discussed earlier. Here, white's main move is to c4. It strengthens white's control of the center, particularly the important d5 square. It also allows white's queenside knight to develop to the active c3 square without blocking the c pawn. Black has many options, including e6, which is a solid and flexible option. Depending on how white plays, black will end up in Queen's Indian, Nimzo-Indian, Bogo-Indian, Queen's Gambit Decline, Benoni, or Catalan. The second option is g6, which tends to be more aggressive and still solid if one knows the key strategic points. Black can choose between King's Indian Defense or Grunfeld Defense if white plays knight c3. Then another option is 2c5, which is Benoni defense. Let us check 2e6 first. It has multiple purposes. It opens a diagonal for the development of black's dark square bishop. It also challenges white's center control by attacking the d5 square. By doing so, black prepares to play d5 while discouraging white from playing d5 themselves. White has three main choices here. 3, knight c3 is more aggressive. White develops peace and fights for the central square e4 and d5. Then knight f3 is less aggressive but solid. White develops peace and strengthens central squares d4 and e5. And 3g3, which usually leads to Catalan. The Catalan provides good chances for white to get powerful piece play in more open game. After 3 knight c3, black's main move is bishop b4, which is called Nimzo-Indian Defense. Black develops the dark square bishop and pins the white knight. It nullifies white's control of the e4 square. Also, black can exchange the bishop with the knight to ruin white's pawn structure. White also has several choices like e3, queen c2, knight f3, etc., which you will explore in the opening master. Instead of knight c3, white can also play knight f3, which is called anti-Nimzo-Indian. Here, we recommend d5 for black. White's choices are knight c3, g3, bishop g5. We recommend knight c3. The game can proceed as follows. Bishop e7, bishop f4, castle, e3. You can explore further in the opening master. If white plays g3, Catalan, again we recommend d5 for black. White's main choices are bishop g2 and knight f3, which anyway will transpose into same position after few moves. For example, bishop g2, bishop e7, knight f3. Now, coming back to 2g6 from black, we recommend 3 knight f3 for white. developing peace and fighting for the center. Black plays bishop g7, moving bishop to its ideal square, bearing down on the central dark squares. Here, for white, we recommend knight c3, developing another piece and further consolidating the center. The game normally proceeds as follows: castle, e4, d6, bishop e2, e5, castle. In the King's Indian defense, black castles kingside with a fianchettoed structure. That is, developing bishop on the long diagonal a1 to h8, allowing white strong pawn center. Later, black will strike back in the center with its pawns. Other variations in the Indian defenses like Benoni, Trompowsky are less common. You can explore and practice them in the opening master. We have clubbed the London system under the Indian defenses for your ease of preparation. However, it is considered a separate opening which can be reached via multiple ways. Please note that Indian defenses has many variations and a huge opening theory. Here in this video, we provided an overview and main ideas in Indian defenses. You will gain more knowledge and expertise on Indian defense after practicing in the opening master. With these main ideas and plans under your belt, now you can prepare and practice Indian defense from white or black side. All the best.